Imagine giving everything you've got to build something incredible, only to watch someone with your face take all the credit and leave you in the shadows. This is the story of how I let my own twin sister rise, just so I could watch her fall harder than anyone expected. My name is Jack, and I grew up as one half of a set of twins. But if you ask my sister Tessa, you'd think she was born alone and I was just her shadow. We were the classic mirrored twins in every way. Same dark hair, same intense eyes, same smirk when we were up to something. But growing up, our personalities couldn't have been more different. I was the quiet one, the thinker, the one who loved building things from scratch, whether it was Lego castles or coding a game on my laptop at 12 years old. Tessa, she was loud, magnetic, knew how to work a room and make people laugh, without doing much else. She hated the grind, but loved the spotlight. And unfortunately, people always rewarded the loudest person in the room, even if they weren't the one doing the work. In school, we were in the same classes, and it started small. Tessa borrowing my homework just this once, then slipping my answers into her test sheets, then full-on standing in front of our science fair project that I built and acting like she stayed up for nights perfecting it. I called her out once, in front of our parents. Their response, "She's your sister, Tyler. Let her shine too." Like I was the villain for not wanting my identity hijacked. But I let it slide. Again, and again, and again. Because I figured, at the end of the day, the truth always finds the light, right? Wrong. It only got worse. By high school, I'd already built a decent online following for the mobile games I developed and uploaded. I was learning Unity, Blender, even some basic AI tools before anyone else in our year even touched HTML. But Tessa? She had turned into a full-blown influencer. Not because she made anything, but because she posted videos pretending she did. That's right. She recorded behind-the-scenes clips in my room, using my screens, and passed them off as her own developer journey. At first, I thought it was just for fun, maybe some TikTok trend or clout-chasing nonsense. But then I saw she had 100,000 followers, then 500,000, then a brand deal for a tech podcast. A tech podcast she had no idea how to talk on without reading lines I wrote for her. I confronted her. She said it was just business, and I should be happy someone is finally noticing our work. Our work. That word stung more than anything. She didn't care that I built it all. She cared that she could wear it like a costume. And she wore it well. She wore it all the way into getting an invite to a national team tech competition, the kind of thing I had been dreaming about since I was 13. She didn't even tell me she applied. She just walked into my room one night, tossed a lanyard with her name on it at me, and said, "Guess I'm the genius now." Something snapped inside me that night. I didn't yell. I didn't flip the desk or storm out. I just said, "Cool. I hope you win." Because that's when I realized I had a new project now. I was going to let her take it all. The praise, the interviews, the pressure. I was going to watch her fly so high that everyone would be looking at her. And then, when it mattered most, I'd pull the curtain back. Not out of cruelty, but out of justice. Because some people don't learn by being told. They only learn when they're shown. So I started planning. Quietly, in the background. While she was rehearsing fake speeches and reposting memes about being a self-made teen prodigy, I was building the one thing she could never fake: proof. Code logs, time-stamped version histories, Git repos, all linked to my ID, my commits, my machines. And then, I started reaching out. Not to take credit, not yet, but to set the trap. I emailed the organizers of the competition under a pseudonym. I told them a contestant was plagiarizing code and I had evidence, but I wouldn't reveal it unless she made it to finals. I wanted it to happen live. I wanted her to stand on the biggest stage, in front of the biggest crowd, and feel exactly how I felt every time she stole my work and smiled like it was hers. I watched her rise. She passed round 1, then 2. The judges were eating it up. They kept calling her brilliant, visionary, and she soaked it in like she belonged there. But the real storm was brewing, and I was the eye at the center of it. Tessa had no idea. She thought she had finally won. But what she didn't know was this: I wasn't her shadow. I was her mirror. And mirrors? They reflect the truth whether you like it or not. By the time Tessa made it to the semifinals of the National Team Tech competition, she was basically a celebrity in our town. Teachers congratulated her in the hallway. Local newspapers ran stories with headlines like, "Twin Prodigy puts our school on the map." And my parents, of course, couldn't stop bragging to their friends about our little genius. Every time they said our, I wanted to laugh. Because they had no idea they were propping up a house of cards, and I was already holding the fan. But I stayed silent, calm, calculating. Tessa was confident, reckless even. She stopped even pretending to understand the code she was presenting, fumbling through presentations by memorizing the exact words I'd used months ago when explaining it to our school counselor. She had no idea the tools had been updated since then. No clue that what she was showing off was old, outdated, and borderline unusable. But the judges didn't know that either. Not yet. See, this competition had a surprise twist every year in the finals, a real-time coding challenge. No pre-recorded demos. No flashy decks. Just live coding. And I knew that was where it would all come crashing down. Because Tessa couldn't code. She couldn't even write a for loop. Meanwhile, I was busy preparing the bombshell. Every screen recording. Every line of code she claimed to have written. Every commit log linked to my personal GitHub. I was building an unshakable case. One that couldn't be explained away as coincidence or twin telepathy or any other excuse she loved to throw around. I had anonymous testimonies from classmates she'd lied to. Even a voice memo where she laughed and said, "Tyler does the work, I just know how to sell it." That one was gold. And as the finals approached, I could feel her walking into the trap with every fake smile, every new follower, every headline calling her the next Elon. She even got a sponsorship from a tech startup who wanted to use her app as part of their summer campaign. That one made me pause, not because I was jealous, but because it was starting to affect real people. That company was investing in something fake. Her lie was becoming other people's mistake, and I was done letting it grow. The night before the finals, I dropped everything I had on a private forum where tech educators and judges hung out. No name, just proof, evidence, and a message: one of your finalists is a fraud. Tomorrow, you'll see why. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was nervous, but because I couldn't wait. The finals were held in a big auditorium downtown, and my whole family came wearing shirts that said, "Go Tessa," in obnoxious fonts. I stayed at the back, hoodie up, watching like a ghost at my own funeral. The first part went smoothly for her. She gave a polished speech, even threw in some motivational nonsense about failing forward and trusting your instincts, which was ironic considering she'd done neither. The judges clapped. The audience clapped. But then the twist was revealed. For the second round, one of the judges said, "We'll be giving each contestant a fresh prompt and 30 minutes to code a solution live. No notes, no pre-built templates. Just you, your laptop, and the task." I saw it. The instant fear in her eyes. That tiny glitch in her performance. She tried to hide it with a smile, but I knew her too well. She was panicking. She sat down, opened her laptop, and stared at the prompt. The clock started ticking. And Tessa? She just sat there. 5 minutes. 10. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard like she was in a horror movie and the keys might bite her. She typed a few things, random stuff like HTML headers and misplaced variables, just enough to look like she was trying. But the judges weren't buying it. One of them leaned toward the others and whispered something. Another opened a laptop and began comparing code samples. I knew what they were seeing. The proof I uploaded. The exact strings of code she had claimed as her own, perfectly matching my logs, down to the bugs I had fixed months ago. 25 minutes in, Tessa finally looked up and said, "I think there's a bug in the IDE." A lie. A last-minute Hail Mary. One of the judges stood up and said, "Tessa, we've reviewed some new evidence that came to light this morning. We'd like to pause your presentation." The whole room went silent. The projector behind her blinked. A new screen came up, side-by-side comparisons of her code and mine. Timestamped. Labeled. Verified. Someone in the audience gasped. My parents turned to each other, confused. Tessa tried to interrupt, to deny it, but the judge held up a hand. "Tessa," he said, "can you explain why this code appears to have originated from your brother's development log months before you submitted it?" She stammered, said we collaborated, that it was shared work. But the voice memo played next. The one where she mocked me, said I was too shy to take credit anyway. That sealed it. You could feel the room turn. My parents looked stunned. My classmates, shocked. Some even recorded the moment, whispering, "Oh my God, she's getting exposed." I watched her try to hold back tears. She begged them not to disqualify her. But the judges weren't swayed. They asked her to leave the stage. And just like that, the girl who stole my work, my voice, my identity, was finally speechless. That night, the story exploded online. Teen tech phenom exposed as fraud. Her sponsors pulled out. Her follower count tanked. The startup she partnered with issued a statement apologizing to me, not her. And Tessa? She deactivated all her accounts. But I wasn't done yet. Because even after all that, people still didn't know the full truth. And what happened next? That's when everything flipped for good. After the competition disaster, Tessa disappeared from public view almost overnight. Her social media wiped clean, every brand deal gone, and every fake title revoked like they'd never existed. But the damage she caused? That lingered like smoke in a burned house, and I had to live in it. Suddenly, everyone who once ignored me wanted to talk. Interviews, podcasts, DMs from people saying, "I always knew it was you," when they clearly didn't. My inbox blew up with people asking for collabs, investors offering seed money, and even university scouts reaching out based on the footage of the finals, where my name was finally linked to the code she'd stolen. At first, I didn't know what to do. I didn't expose her for fame. I just wanted the truth out. But truth has a weird way of shining once you stop hiding it. And now, for the first time, I wasn't behind the curtain. I was center stage, and this time, it was real. I accepted a scholarship to one of the best tech schools in the country, something Tessa had always dreamed about but never earned, and I walked in not as someone's shadow or silent sidekick, but as Tyler Hartman, the guy who actually built what he said he did. I even launched my own startup, a gamified learning platform that helped students code in fun, visual ways, and guess what? It exploded. Turns out, being authentic still counts for something, especially in a world where everyone's trying to be something they're not. But the final chapter of this story didn't come until a few months later. I got a message from Tessa. No emojis. No fake charm. Just, "Can we talk?" Against every warning in my head, I agreed. We met at a quiet cafe near campus. No cameras, no crowds. Just two siblings who shared the same face, but now lived in two completely different realities. She looked tired. Not physically. More like someone who'd been pretending for so long. She forgot what her real voice sounded like. She didn't start with an apology, which I expected. Instead, she said, "I didn't think you'd actually do it." I looked at her and said, "That's the problem. You never thought I could." Silence. Then finally, "I'm sorry." Not because she got caught, but because she finally saw the gap between the illusion she lived in and the person I'd become without her stealing the spotlight. She said she didn't know who she was without the character she played. I told her, "Then maybe it's time to find out." I wasn't cruel. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I just got up, paid for my drink, and said, "Next time you look in the mirror, make sure it's not me you see. It's you." I left, knowing I had done something most people never get to do. I stood up for myself, not with fists or fury, but with facts and patience. And I didn't just win, I grew. Because revenge isn't about watching someone fall. It's about rising so high that their lies can't touch you anymore. And that's exactly what I did. So yeah, if you're ever in a situation where someone takes credit for your hard work, don't panic. Just build something so undeniable, so powerful, so you, that no one can fake it. And when they try, let the truth be your loudest voice. I'm Tyler, and this was the story of how my twin tried to steal my future. So I handed her a mic and let her expose herself. If you liked this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more insane true stories like this, and let me know in the comments if you would have exposed her sooner, or let her fall just like I did. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the quiet ones make the loudest impact.